Talk to me about why it's important in a law firm setting or any business setting to have systems to be able to help you grow.
Yeah, so one of the biggest challenges that, again, I continue to see ongoing is that processes that can be automated are still being done manually, which means it's very staff heavy. How many law firms, and those of you listening, run a really heavy staff? Your payroll is pretty heavy. And I know we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but when you have things manually handled that in this day and age, many times can be handled through automations and systems and still feel very personal. And that's really important, that it doesn't feel like it's robots or automation. And so, especially with what is possible this day and age, there's so many roles that can be handled through automation to help cut your payroll, cut your time expense, overtime, all of those things that really affect your bottom line. So our goal is to help you reduce your expenses and improve your bottom line without any major changes. Reassign those people into roles that require more in direct hands-on work.
Welcome to Harry Handles It, a podcast where we dive into the world of personal growth, success strategies, and everything in between. I'm your host, HARRY NALBANDYAN, and today we're going to chat with an incredible guest who has some amazing insights to share. Remember, no matter what life throws your way, I'm here to help you handle it. So let's get started.
Good afternoon. Today we have the wonderful Lisza Crisalle on the Harry Handles It podcast, and we're going to talk about what it takes to scale a business, what it takes to run a team, and what it takes to get to the next level of your firm or any part of your business. Lisza, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I am excited to share today.
I am just as excited to talk to you. Your background is very unique. We were just talking about it off the air. Can you give our listeners a little bit of a sneak peek as to what
Sure.
brought you to where you are?
I kind of have two lifetimes. My first lifetime was in law. I spent over 20 years in law, literally working my way up from a legal secretary to a paralegal to law firm administrator and IT manager for some major law firms in Southern California. It just, I loved the world of that. I was primarily working in defense work and variety of different law firms, really supporting the teams, supporting the organizations, helping them have structure to how they ran their business. I'm very good at organizing and making sure there's structure. And I'm actually known now as a business strategist, which is my second life. My husband and I started our company in 2003. And we are what we call a SaaS agency. So we help businesses, specifically working with law firms and attorneys, to simplify their systems so that they can scale and grow.
And talk to me about why it's important in a law firm setting or any business setting to have systems to be able to help you grow.
Yeah, so one of the biggest challenges that, again, I continue to see ongoing is that processes that can be automated are still being done manually, which means it's very staff heavy, right? How many law firms, and those of you listening, run a really heavy staff? Your payroll is pretty heavy. And I know we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but when you have things manually handled that in this day and age, many times can be handled through automations and systems and still feel very personal. And that's really important, that it doesn't feel like it's robots or automation. And so, especially with what is possible this day and age, there's so many roles that can be handled through automation to help cut your payroll, cut your time expense, overtime, all of those things that really affect your bottom line. So our goal is to help you reduce your expenses and improve your bottom line without any, major changes. Reassign those people into roles that require more, in direct hands-on work.
That's interesting. And again, we talked about this off the air, but the introduction of artificial intelligence tools and different type of automation tools have been a game changer recently. What positions have you found to benefit from the leverage of artificial intelligence tools?
Yeah, so that's a big question. So there's a few different angles on this. AI tools can be used internally to help you create systems and automate. And most people are familiar with getting ChatGPT to help write you follow up emails or write sequences or do things like that. That's kind of the people are starting to get that into the mainstream. Where we really exceed and where you mentioned is AI employees. And so the structure of utilizing AI in your business has really changed and it's moving exponentially fast. Okay, I'm just going to share that. But where it's brilliant, and the thing that we absolutely love right now is bringing in an AI employee that can handle the primary and front end, bringing somebody in, answering questions, doing, directing somebody to the right place. And here's the beautiful thing, and this is where I really want to highlight, is that AI employees never get sick, they never call in late, they never have an attitude, they always say the right thing, always, and even better, they work 24/7. So let me share this, because if you have somebody who is looking for help and it's 11 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the morning and they're looking for help and they're trying to find an attorney now, if you are not responding to them, if you're having them go to an answering machine and wait till the morning, they've moved on already to the next number. They've already moved on. And so in this day and age, it is about not losing those leads, not losing those potential clients, and being able to help them answer some of the basic questions, not giving legal advice, but help direct them, and then getting them to get that person to schedule an appointment. And
Right.
that can all be done with AI employee.
And do you know of a specific tool, or are there a series of tools that you would recommend for one of your clients?
Well, it just so happens that is what we do.
Okay.
So that is part of our program. So I would say, obviously we develop custom AI employees. And so what we do is we have an initial meeting. We talk about the process. We want to make sure we're using your language. And then we actually build it all out. We build it out based on your languaging. If somebody says this, what is your response? And so we take some time meeting with the client, learning their structure, what is the next step, and then we build it, and then we run testing for a little while. We want to test it, make sure, if what happens when somebody says something off the
Yeah.
cuff, right? So we're always making sure that the AI employee knows how to handle that. And then, and I will tell you, quite frankly, it's really cool when people, they know. I mean, I will tell you, the voices have gotten really good. Like many times, they're so responsive and so natural. It's very difficult to tell. Okay, but even when they know that it's a quote unquote robot or an AI employee, they actually really like it because it's very interactive. Like
Yeah.
they can ask it anything, and this is where people tend to, and we've been hearing this, is they'll go deeper into deeper questions because they want to see if they can answer it. And every single call that is handled by an AI employee is recorded and then sent to the client so the client can hear it and make sure that it's being answered appropriately. So, very important.
Very interesting. And then the different data points that you feed it, is that a service you provide or something that the client has to do themselves?
Well, we'll ask the questions, so we know what questions to ask you. Like we'll say, we walk you through a process that is going to say, step one, somebody calls in and they ask a question. Again, we'll guide them through. We get them to obviously give us the answers, and then we develop it, we build it.
And this seems like it solves the intake or the first touch point problem. When you were in the business of running the law firm and doing some of the work yourself, did you find yourself having to answer the same question from other
Um,
members maybe over and over again?
Of course, absolutely, over and over again, all the time. And again, that's the easiest area to start with, right? What is the common questions that you get? And I'll share something really funny. One of our clients, not in law, she is actually what's called a trichologist. Okay, so she helps people with hair loss issues, and she runs a salon and all of that. So many times people call in while she's with a client. And so with her AI employee, it helped her because she was getting really frustrated answering the same questions over and over again. And literally, people would be on the internet looking at her website, calling the phone number, and on her website it says her hours and her location. And they would call up and say, "Well, where are you located?" And she would go, "Well, where did you get my information?" "Oh, I'm on your website." So, I mean, right? It's that frustration of answering silly questions because people don't pay attention. So
Yeah.
it takes all of that out. Like, think of it as your receptionist. A receptionist actually gets frustrated answering these silly questions over and over again. So it goes to the AI employee first. And then when it comes to a point where it needs to have a human, right, during hours, so it knows what your working hours. So if it has to get, transferred to the secretary or to the receptionist, the AI employee transfers the call and it moves to a real live human.
Yeah, it's incredible. And have you seen that technology sort of evolve over the months?
Oh
Over
my
months?
gosh. It is literally evolving exponentially fast. And I'll tell you, I would say 6 months ago, AI employee sounded very robotic. Okay, so it had a really robotic sound, and it also had, interestingly enough, it had a lag time. There was because it would take in the question or the
Yeah.
comment from the human. It would take the question in, and then be a little lag time, and it was a little frustrating because it would take the robot a second to process it. We've eliminated that. Like it's literally feels like a conversation. It has moved very, very quickly. And again, the AI employee voices have literally exponentially grown better, like incredible. And you can do things like, an English accent or an Australian accent, which interesting, Australian accents are the favored accent of all. People love talking to somebody with an Australian accent. They have more interaction. It's really interesting.
That is interesting.
Um, so you can work on accents. You can have it be male, female. You have different tones of voice. Perhaps again, maybe you have a very male dominated company version, something, right? So you would have more of a aggressive male voice, or you want to have a softer female voice. Like all of these things, intonations have just grown exponentially. Like honestly, it's almost daily.
It does almost sound like a real person. I mean, if you're not really attuned to it, that some of those tools are very good.
Yes.
Um, so to shift gears a little bit, if a business wanting to grow, obviously wants to grow their bottom line, what in your mind is the first thing to look at before even thinking about that?
The very first thing to do is, I would say, an audit of what are your manual operations. Like, what are you doing right now in your business that is taking a human being to process? And then look at, again, is it duplicative, right? Are they doing the same thing over and over again? Or are they answering the same question over and over again? So the first thing to do, absolutely hands down, is a manual audit. What are some things that we can, now I'm not trying to move anybody out of a job. Okay. So I don't want people to worry that AI is going to do that, but it's about better use of their time and better use of your expenses, right?
Yeah.
So absolutely, number one is start with a review of manual operations.
And I mean, and obviously in the law firm context, what in your mind would be a manual operation that's typically done that could be pretty easily automated?
So this could be things like follow up with the client, you know, reminding them when they have an appointment so that they actually show up and they show up on time. Again, a secretary shouldn't be the one having to call the client. In this day and age, a legal secretary needs to be used as a legal secretary, right? Like, let's use her skill sets for that and not being the one doing all the follow up with clients. So follow up is absolutely the easiest area to start with, where you can send automated text message, automated emails to them. So one of the things we like to do is, let's say you have a longer message, maybe that you need to send the client like a document to review and sign and return. One of the things that we do to easily capture their attention is we send, again, all of this can be automated, where they get a text message first that says, "Hey, we just sent you an email." And then immediately, obviously, the text and the email basically go at the same time, but they get the text first,
Yeah.
because what does everyone do when they get a text? they look at their phone. And the phone's going to say, this is from your law firm, and hey, we just sent you a quick email with some instructions for your next step, something like that. Short, and then the extensive information goes into an email because you don't want to put a big long
Yeah,
text message.
that's clever.
So we do those things. So text first and then an email. We send them let's say a document to sign. The documents can all be handled internally, right? Once you have those documents, it gets sent out automatically. They can sign it internally, okay, literally digitally, get it returned, they return it back, and it stays in their file directly connected to that contact. So everything's handled internally in one platform and one system.
And is that a system your company also built?
Yeah, we didn't build it, but it's what we have developed, and it's our customs systems. Yes, so that's why we say we simplify to scale. Instead of having 5, 10, 15 or more different apps and programs and softwares that have to send information back and forth. And I'll share this. Like, I know attorneys use either DocuSign or some of the other digital, signature things.
Right.
Well, what happens? You've got to use an outside app or program that then has to send the information back, right? Then it has to get received from the secretary, who then has to, put it into the file or connect it to that person. And we have all these outside extraneous pieces that have to work together. And we eliminate all of that. We help our clients create an all-in-one, what we call command central, to run all of these aspects, from your calendaring systems, your scheduling calls, your AI employees, your documents, sending and receiving, your, having those files in one place, and managing everything that happens from the time a prospect, right, before they're a client, but a prospect comes into your world until if they ever, stop, working with you, right? So it handles the entire history of every single thing they do, from links that they click on and open, so you know what they've seen and haven't seen. Like, it's literally like having a crystal ball into your clients and your business.
That's interesting. And it's a platform, uh, is a new platform that a firm would have to adopt to be able to use?
I wouldn't say, it's not a new platform. We have been, so again, I'm just sharing what is possible. I'm not here to promote, but it's been around 7 years. We have been a full agency for 7 years with this platform that we personally use in our business every day, and that we've developed because of our background and because of what we bring into running businesses. Again, we're business strategists, and the problems that we've seen. And so, quite frankly, it's about addressing the problems.
Right.
It's not, again, you guys, there's tools and resources all the time. The question is, does it address the problems? Does it help save you time, money, and energy, right? And resources. And so as long as we can solve those problems, we're going to help your business be more efficient and be able to deliver at a higher level for your clients. That's our role. That's exactly what we do. Again, without wasting time and trying to figure out all these things and doing all these manual actions. And so, again, it's about being more efficient and being more cost effective as well.
Yeah. The tools and services that are available now really make it a lot easier.
Yeah, they do. And again, there's a lot out there. I mean, there's a lot of options. What I would share with anyone listening to this is understand that it's not about one tool for doing one thing anymore. It's not. It's understanding, and if you're looking at something, like what all can it do, and how can it help relieve some other problems and challenges? What can it do to that? So the number one thing we see again is that many business owners, law firms, etc., are what we call piecemealing or Frankensteining their systems together, right? They have, and again, we see this more with like entrepreneurs, where they just get the shiny object syndrome. Oh, I just saw this tool that does this. Like, they maybe saw AI employee. Well, understanding AI employee alone isn't necessarily solving all your problems. It's got to work internally with all of your systems so that it's working across the board. And that's the problem that we solve. Don't just, again, it's, hey, I saw AI employee. It's really cool. Like, we need to add that. And I actually have someone who I just spoke to 2 days ago who did exactly this. He invested in an AI employee, but it didn't have the back end support and integration.
Right.
And so he used it less than a month and he canceled his service because it didn't actually solve his problem. It caused another problem.
The
So
integration problem.
the integration problem, yes. And that's, again, understanding how can we solve all of these pieces and simplify your systems so then you're in a position to be able to easily scale and grow your practice, if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah. Well, this is a great conversation, Lisza. Can you tell our viewers where they can find you, how they can get in touch?
Absolutely, yes, for sure. So the easiest way, again, and where you can learn everything about the platform and about AI employee is very simple, whatworksacademy.com. Very, very simple, whatworksacademy.com, because we do what works. But yes, that's the easiest place to find us. There's also on there, by the way, for all of your listeners, we have a free little, very, very short 30-second quiz that you can take that's just going to ask you a few questions about your business and are you piecemealing things together? And at the end of the quiz, it's just going to help you do like a little audit on, what things are you doing manually, just to have you start to think about it. And once you complete that little quiz, you have the opportunity to book a free, no obligation call with us so we can take a look at your systems and how we might be able to help.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Very simple. We like things simple. I don't like overcomplicating things, right? Running the business is complicated enough. So
And leave it to a bunch of lawyers to make things complicated, right?
yeah. We know that, don't we? Yes. I have 20 years of that. So yes, I understand.
Yeah. Oh, thanks again, Lisza. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Harry. Glad I could help.
Thanks for joining us today on Harry Handles It. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and found some valuable takeaways. If you're facing challenges in your own life or business, remember that you're not alone. Together, we can handle anything that comes our way. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you liked what you heard. Until next time, keep pushing forward and handling life with confidence.